I'm Nick. Welcome to Get Out and Wrench. Today, I'm going to start welding the frame back together on my 91 Camaro. You've seen that I cut it, and I'm going to start welding it back together. I finally got my welding gas and my welder all set up. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to unplug the ECM on this car. I think it's up underneath the dash on the passenger side, so it's a little tight over there. So I'll do my best to get in there. The reason that I'm going to unplug the ECM is because I've had in the past welded on vehicles with ECM hooked up, and I fried ECM on a 93 Jeep Wrangler one time, and that was $250 that I didn't have to spend on that car that I ended up spending, which I don't want to have to do that again. So anytime I weld on a car that has an ECM in it, I unplug it. Doesn't matter what everybody else says. You can hook up all these capacitors and this and that and put your ground right there, but just for peace of mind, I like to unplug the ECM. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll get to welding. The ECM's right here. It's just actually falling out of there. I don't know if there's any bolts that are supposed to hold it up. But basically, I'm just going to unplug it if I can. I might need two hands. Sorry for the lighting, it's a little tight in here. But, I'll just take the whole thing out. Alright, so just take the whole thing out, and then it looks like there's just these two tabs on either side. And I'll unplug one. Unplug the other one. And then just put that off to the side. And it's safe. I do not need to worry about frying that. It looks like remanufactured by General Motors. It looks like this was replaced in 2013, so about 10 years ago. Not bad. Somebody cleaned the case up good on it, but yeah, the car runs good, so I'm gonna leave that ECM over there. Alright, so I'm gonna grind that down so that I got a nice clean surface. But what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna take some of my scrap pieces, which I cut that frame rail off of, and I'm gonna set up my welder so I know that I'm not gonna blow through it or not get a good weld. Because I only got one shot at this. So let me bring you in a little closer so you can kind of see. So right here, I'm going to grind this so I got nice fresh metal on both sides, and then I'm going to use this piece and then maybe this other scrap piece or some of those scrap pieces, and just test my welder out and make sure that it's good. But this is the setup I'm using. I got my Eastwood MP200i. I've never used this welder before. I had been using this Lincoln Weld Pack for a very, very long time, probably about 15 years or more. I've used good MIG welders before. I got my 80 cubic foot gas cylinder, so I can actually weld with gas and get nice good structural welds that I need. I'm not a professional welder. I can get by, so don't assume that this is going to be the best welding you've ever seen. And this is just a guy in his garage fixing his car. So what we got here, which you would have seen in the last video, I got my new frame rail piece set up on here with a couple pairs of vice grips to my old frame rail piece, and my plan is I'm going to tack it in a few spots, get it lined up good, and then we'll go from there and you know, weld it in. cover up my other car so I don't get any stuff on it. The cover is not the best cover, but I'm not worried about like weld spatter. I don't think I'm gonna have that issue with the gas. I would be worried about it with the flux welder because it spatters a lot. Alright. Got my safety glasses. Okay, so you're going to be witnessing me using my welder for the first time. My new welder. So I'm going to weld these two pieces together just as a practice so I can get my settings right, and we'll see how the welder welds. I got my gas and everything. Turn the gas on. Not really sure what my pressure is supposed to be at. Let's see if it tells me in here. The other thing is with this welder, it does 110 or 220, and right now I'm plugged into 110 because I need to get a 220 outlet adapter for it. It does not tell me my shielding gas pressure. Okay, let me figure that out. Alright, so I couldn't find it in the manual, but on the internet it told me that between 3 to 8 psi of pressure here for typical welding, so I'm just going to run it around that and see how it goes. So, from what I'm figuring, watching video, and I want this to probably be at about 18 and a half maybe. And then my wire feed, I'll put it at like 4. Let's see how that is. This only goes down to 13 volts, so I'll put that at 15, and the wire feed we'll put at, okay, so that's 3, 4, I will put this at 4, I'll put this at 3, and we'll see how that goes. I got my welding gloves here. That might have been, the wire speed might have been too slow. Turn that up a little bit. I'll turn the voltage up a little bit too. Maybe a little more speed. That seems like a good weld. Let's see what we got for weld on the inside. So, I mean, it's not the best weld, but if they get penetration on the side here, and if this was not bent and warped and all crazy, I probably would have got some better penetration there. But I can take my pliers off. Maybe. Yeah, I can take my pliers off. mean, that's on there. That's not going anywhere. So, I mean, it's still hot, and it's, you know, you can see that bending. So, it definitely seems like that worked pretty decent. So I guess there's only one thing to do is to tack this on here and see what happens. Alright, well, like I said, I'm not a professional welder, and I'm not a professional body person or a professional chassis repair. I just fixing my car. One thing I forgot to mention, you can see it, this right here with the valve stem on it, it's my fuel line. So I'm gonna go find something to put in front of that so I don't accidentally blow myself up. Alright, found that piece of metal there. It's actually a tray for mixing Bondo. Welder actually doesn't weld too bad. And now that tacked there, I need to twist it down. So I'm gonna take this out. Ooh, I don't want to break my tack weld. Twist that down a little. I want to get this top as flush as possible. Definitely just blinded myself. Don't be on fire. guess that's gonna be the best I'm gonna be able to get it lined up. So I'm gonna run a bead down the side here, maybe one down the side there, and then I'll run one across the top, and we'll see how she looks. Blown through, so that means too much amperage. Looks like that'll hold. I'm gonna have to go over this up here a little bit more because that didn't blew through. But now I'm down to 14.5 volts, so that seems to be better. The welding helmet did not. Well, my welding helmet didn't darken, so that's why that did that. Blowing through again. Why are we blowing through? Is my metal thinner than... Do I need less wire speed? It doesn't help that I really can't see what I'm doing here. I guess we're just going to have to grind all this down. Yeah, I know. Put down the welder. Step away. Hire a professional. Can't afford a professional. once it gets ground down, nobody will know how bad it actually is. I'll know, and you'll know, but nobody else will know. Okay, so like I said, I'm not a professional welder. I have welded before, just I don't do it that often, and this is my first time using that welder, but we got some okay welds on the top. They're not great, like this side's not great. Those, I guess, are good. These, it's also hard to see and get in there. These just look bad, but I did get good penetration on the inside. I don't know if you can see in there, but I did get it in there good. This side came out also bad, and then the bottom I had way too big of a gap, so that's kind of what I ended up with there. But it's together and it's one part of the car now. So I'm gonna grind it flat, I guess, and paint it. So we'll see how it looks after I grind it. Well, they invented grinders for a reason. So we'll ground this down, ground down the side, I ground down this side, and I ground down the bottom. I did blow through in a couple spots on the bottom, but I mean, there's really not much I can do about that. I'd probably have to cut out this whole section and replace it, but I think it'll be alright. That's just some soot from welding, but I think it'll be alright. You know, the car's already been totaled twice, so it's not decreasing the value of the car any further. And then I just gotta get some primer to spray on here so it doesn't rust. So I got this Seymour weld through primer I'm gonna put on there because I still gotta do spot welds in that area where it's shiny. So I'll just put this weld through primer on the whole thing because it says it's got maximum corrosion resistance. Even though it's in the garage, I don't want to leave it just exposed metal because it might be a couple weeks before I'm back in here actually working on this thing again. So I'll put this on it for now. It's always good to spray it on like a fresh piece before you have to spray it on what you're working on. Comes out pretty fast. Alright, well, there you go. That's primed. I'll let that dry. And then my next step is to put the core support in and the rail on that side. But yeah, I think I'm making pretty good progress. Like I said, not a professional welder. I did the best I could with what I had. Just got to get back on the road, because I have another project coming that I do not really have space for outside anywhere, and I would like to put it in here if I can. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. I'm Nick. Get out and wrench.